and welcome to Thursday Thunderdome, where once a week, every Thursday, we take one topic, put it in a chili pot of our own reasoning and opinions, stir it all up, and make it into something our own. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chris.
Hey, I love chili, so that's great.
Yeah, chili's amazing. I had chili dogs tonight, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very good. This week's episode is all about business, like big business,
corporate greed,
small business, and shopping local, and trying to do the right thing if we do any of that. I mean, like, as I say, trying to like shop local already. I bought on Amazon today. I spent $40 on Amazon today, and I'm gonna get it on Thursday, and it's gonna be great.
I am as well. Yes, yeah. We bought a poetry book.
I bought Captain Marvel toys.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, finally completed my set, so I'm good now.
When I say poetry book, it's written by the lead singer of one of my favorite bands, Rhett Miller from the old 97s. I guess a little plug here. I don't know why I'm doing that, but
I'm sure they need the money.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe they'll shout us out too.
I only know them because I'm from Texas, and they're a Texas band. But it's a kid's book. Okay. And it's called No More Poems, and it's written in the same vein as Shel Silverstein.
Oh, nice.
So I love the idea of supporting a small-time artist because most people don't know who he is, but I had to buy his book on Amazon.
Yeah, and like it's weird because honestly, Amazon's terrible. Amazon is bad for everyone involved. It's Jeff Bezos is a monster. Amazon is a corporate monster. We should not be buying there. But I've spent a lot of money on Amazon.
Oh, that's where we get all of our Christmas presents.
Yeah, it's so easy.
We get so much stuff on a weekly basis from Amazon, and they're just everywhere.
I know it's so easy to do, and like they're so shitty. Like they treat their employees like almost literal slaves. Like they're about as close as they're gonna get to slavery without us saying like, "Hey, that's slavery."
No, yeah, I mean, so this past holiday season, I read an article where a man was working at one of the Kansas distribution centers, and he was living in his car, but he normally drove over to like another store or like an RV park or something to park for the night. But he decided not to do that because a snowstorm was coming in, and he didn't think he would be able to dig his car out of the snow and then drive to work the next morning at the distribution center. So he slept in his car in the distribution center parking lot that night with several other people actually doing the same thing. Because the expectation was set that if you do not show up for work tomorrow, you will be fired.
Yeah, which is just, it's so insane. And like Amazon doesn't care about any of their employees, and these people have to do it. Like for them to find another job that pays, I mean, not that Amazon pays all that much. I mean, they raised their minimum wage pretty recently,
they did,
right?
They did. I've got some numbers here I'd like to throw at you.
Hit me. Give me the stats.
So, in 2018, Amazon, $232 billion in revenue. That was an increase from $177 billion the year prior. $232 billion in revenue. I can't even fathom how much money that is. Now, their net income, essentially their profit, was only $10 billion. So they're paying a lot out, but they're generating a ton of revenue.
But how do you think that profit works? Like, do you think that's actual profit per se? Do you know what I'm getting at?
No, for sure. Like there's all kinds of developments and like research and development that they're doing and whatnot, where it's going back in and paying wages and stuff. Like the profit's not the wage part. Like that $232 billion in revenue, they pay wages out of that. Mm-hmm. Right? The profit is just what the company keeps in their coffers at the end of the year. Right. And so they have 647,000 employees. 647,000. That's a lot, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So by comparison, the city of Indianapolis, where we live, Indianapolis proper, not the surrounding areas, has 860,000 people approximately. So, I mean, basically it's like employing almost an entire, mid-sized city.
We're barely bigger than Amazon as a city itself.
Another interesting fun fact, you said Jeff Bezos is a monster. Well, he also gets to be a spin monster, a spin doctor maybe, because he owns the Washington Post.
Which is insane. I didn't know that until this until recording, like really like 10 minutes ago. I didn't know
Right.
that.
No, I found this out maybe a month and a half ago because I've been reading a lot more politics. And, he had something in the media recently about him sending, some self pictures.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
some
wasn't it like
dick pics,
wasn't it like the
really.
National Enquirer?
Yeah, the
that
National
was like,
Enquirer.
they're like, hey,
And they
we
were
have these
trying to-
pictures. Like, fuck you, Jeff.
Right, and they were trying to blackmail him or whatever.
Which is kind of weird because like it's kind of weird when you're rooting for the National Enquirer. It's like, like, good for you guys, I guess. Like, I don't know, like, fuck Jeff. What is it, Bezos or Bezos?
I've heard both.
Oh, I've always just said Bezos. I've never heard it out loud though, so I couldn't tell you either way.
Well, here's the rest of that story. The National Enquirer is owned by, I believe, I could be completely wrong here, but they're owned either by somebody who is an extreme Trump supporter or by Trump's organization. And so they are out to get Jeff Bezos because the Washington Post publishes a lot of anti-Trump articles.
Right, I'm sure.
So it's kind of this vicious cycle of, well, I'm going to get you and you're going to get me. And so Jeff decided, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll release him myself. So there's no issue.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, fine, I don't care. Like,
What's going to happen?
what's going to happen
Like,
to me? I mean,
He
I'm
has more
set.
money than God. Like, it doesn't
Right.
matter. I checked his net worth. I think his net worth is $162 billion.
Yeah, is he not the richest in the world?
He is the richest person
in the world, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
I think by like a fair margin. Because I was in the article that I read, I think it was dated a couple months ago. Bill Gates was $92 billion.
Right.
So like he's got $70 billion on Bill Gates.
That
70
is
billion with a B.
B billion, yes. So we know all of that. We know how wealthy this man is. They just raised their actual minimum wage, their starting wage to $15 an hour.
Which is stupid. That's so low
Yeah.
for what they could be doing.
And if you work full time, a year, that's $31,000 a year.
Yeah, that was my like starting wage out of college at Walgreens, I think. Maybe it wasn't even 15. But it was like around that mark, and I was like, at that time, I was like, I'm rich. This is amazing. And now I think about it, I was like, that is so low. I can't ever go back to
It's
that.
extremely low.
Yeah.
It's extremely low. I mean, when we talk about another company, I got some other fun stats to throw at you.
Okay.
It's going to be fun. But, like, where I work right now, I'm not going to say where that's at.
I thought you were going to for a second. I was like, don't.
We bring people in at more than that. And by the time they get done with training, it's, even more. I mean, I'm talking like they're making 37. And these are people without college degree once they're done with training. So you're going to put somebody into, and we don't make as much money as Amazon. I can tell you that right now.
What? No, does anyone? Like, are they the...
Oh, no. I've got another company on here that's
Okay.
going to dwarf them by comparison.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You could probably take one guess and guess who it is, but...
I already saw the sheet, so I cheated.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, they're a big, giant, evil monster. I mean, and no wonder the people in New York didn't want them to put a headquarter there.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were looking at Indy for a while, too. Mm-hmm. And it's... Because they talk about, like, bringing all these jobs in and things like that, but it's not like every job goes to, like, a native person from whatever state that is.
No, they're going to truck in a whole bunch of tech people.
Right, exactly. And, like, I was looking at, like, I think the average salary at one of those places was, like, it was like over $100,000.
Sure.
I was like, okay, but if we know how averages work, like, if some person's making $10 million, like, that is not going to balance out, like, the people making 30 grand each. Like, that's not how averages work.
Right.
So it's not like, it's like, oh, like, 25,000 jobs, like, we can go make $100,000. Like, no, you can't. Like, that's not, no. Because the people that are going to see that money are most likely going to be from whatever state that actually lands up in.
Right. And the thing is, if you're going to be bringing in tech people, that you're not bringing in. So if they moved to Indy, if they did decide to do the HQ2 or whatever in Indianapolis, like they talked about, great. That's going to bring a lot of people into Indianapolis. We're going to up our population. It's going to cause the housing prices to go through the roof. It's going to cause other companies to have to now pay more. When the job market was stable and the wages were competitive, it's now going to have to become more competitive, which is good. That's a good thing, right? To have wages go up for everybody. But if the housing cost goes up and the cost of other things go up, then it all just equals out, and nobody gains anything.
And
out
Indianapolis
of the
is going to be paying like tax breaks for Amazon because they need that for some reason. I don't remember the actual number. I want to say it was like New York was going to give them $3 billion in tax breaks.
Yeah, $3 billion spread over however many years.
Right,
I mean,
right.
so hundreds of million a year. And then that was going to speed up gentrification and like kicking people out of their homes essentially because they wouldn't be able to afford to live the rent hikes.
Yeah.
And that's just insanity to me. The fact that that's going to happen. There's a lot of good that comes with a corporation coming into town, but they need to come into town on their own dime.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of things where essentially Amazon was just holding states hostage. Where,
oh yeah.
Like the two states I can think of off the top of my head were Texas and South Carolina, I believe, where basically Amazon didn't pay taxes for 5 years, and the states were like, "Hey, like you need to do this," and they said, "No, we're shutting down our plant then," and they held themselves hostage. They said, "We'll shut down. There's nothing you can do about it," and like they lost, and they the states all buckled because they're like, "Well, we need you to do this so we can create jobs and keep." Right. And I think eventually Amazon like started paying taxes supposedly after that, but like it was like 5 years of no taxes, like hundreds of millions of dollars they weren't paying, and they're just saying like basically fuck you guys, there's nothing you can do about it,
which is just insanity to me. I mean, we talk about a broken tax system in the United States, at the state level, the federal level, and all that, right? We want to pay for these programs, we want to pay for healthcare, we want to pay for the wall, right?
Yeah.
Like make corporations actually pay the taxes they owe. Like don't put the tax burden on the little man who can't get a good enough lawyer to find all the loopholes in the tax system to get out of paying taxes.
Yeah, I wonder how much Jeff Bezos is paying in taxes.
Oh,
besides nothing, I assume. I assume he pays maybe $20 in taxes.
His wealth is most likely all tied up in stocks.
He owns 80 million Amazon stocks.
Yeah, it's all tied up in stocks.
His salary is only $80,000 a year.
Right. So he probably pays taxes off of that salary, and he doesn't pay taxes unless he pulls money out of paying, selling the stock, right?
Right.
And that's going to be a capital gains tax, and it's going to be a fair chunk of change, but he's going to have so many charities.
Assuming he doesn't have any loopholes or whatever to pay for.
He's going to have some. Well, I mean, and that's where the tax write-offs come in, right? Charities and donations and all these other things. It's like, why don't you do those things and still pay the taxes? Because you have enough.
He could easily do like a 95% tax probably and still make more money than anyone in America. Maybe except Bill Gates.
I mean, and I don't want to like overtax people, but at the same time, people should pay their fair share. And fair share.
And that's I think his fair share would be way more than anybody else.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is like, but 95% is a little high. But to clarify on what some of that might mean is after a certain dollar amount you pay a higher bracket. So just the way our tax system works now, if you make $30,000, you pay 10%, and then if you make $40,000, you pay 10% on the $30,000, and then you pay 15% on $10,000 after that.
I say just don't even do that. Just tax him in full. Like that is like it's literally so much money he can't spend that. Like it's impossible. He can't spend it. He can't give it away like fast enough. It's never gonna happen. Like he has more money than anyone possibly knows what to do with.
And that's where maybe it doesn't need to be taxed. Maybe it should just be put back into wages.
Well, I'm saying like you not even that. Like you can do both. He has so much money he can do both. Like. If he just just said like, hey, just give me $1 billion less a year, and let's just raise wages and stuff. Like that wage number is not just what'd you say it was $15 an hour? Is not just $15 an hour flat. That also includes all benefits.
This one is actually I found a new article where they did raise it to $15 an hour.
Oh, so that is the actual cash.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember there was another article I saw. It was dated previously that did say, our total benefits package includes.
Yeah.
And it equals out to $15 an hour. No, they were.
Well, that's slightly better, I guess.
But
I'm sure other benefits are shit too.
Right.
Because when are they going to take vacation? They can't.
Okay, so great. I'm going to pay you $15 an hour, but then I'm going to make sure that you can't go on break and you have to urinate in a jar.
Yeah, like they work like 12 hours a day and they have no time for breaks.
Take a break, mandatory overtime. Okay, great. So I get time and a half. but I don't get to choose to do time and a half. You're making me do it.
Right.
So I will lose my job if I don't show up to work an extra 10 hours this week.
Yeah, yeah, and like, you know, like I mean, honestly, I see mandatory overtime a lot at my work. I work in a factory, and like the plant, like I've seen them work 12-hour days for 6 days a week. And, like they usually don't work Sundays. Like I see like the drain it takes on them. I can't like, and Amazon's even worse. And I know like the Amazon drivers that deliver stuff, most of the time they have to pay out of pocket for their own things to drive, like for vans and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They don't get reimbursed for gas. They don't get reimbursed for any of that. So they're not. I'd be surprised if they're barely making over break even, depending. And I think they get. I assume they get paid more by how many packages they deliver and things like that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think we get most of our packages delivered to our house by just some guy in a car.
Yeah.
Like he just drives his sedan over and picks up a bunch of boxes. Yep. But I've actually seen more recently, there are people who are buying those Sprinter vans. Mm-hmm. You know, the much larger vans, you know, like a cargo van, loading it up and doing that as their gig. You know, and it's kind of like doing Uber, but for Amazon, essentially.
Right. And I was reading articles about like people going to the bathroom in there. They had like buckets and things so they could go to the bathroom and still keep driving and save time.
They're doing the Dumb and Dumber thing where they're peeing in the bottle as they're driving, you know. Quick, Harry, I need another bottle. But, I mean, okay, so I came across this one anecdote, and if this is even true for any company, Amazon aside, then there's something just flawed. There's a man suing Amazon for wrongful termination. He says they fired him for going to the bathroom too many times. Well, the man has Crohn's disease. For those of you who don't know, it's a disease that, you know, you do end up having to go to the bathroom more often because, you know, what it does. And he let them know that. He told them up front, I have this disease.
In like the hiring process.
It is disclosed that I have this, and this is something I'm going to have to do, because that is a question that is asked in any job. Can you perform these duties with any reasonable accommodation? Mm-hmm. Well, reasonable accommodation is that I get to go to the bathroom whenever the fuck I want. You know,
which isn't even like a reasonable accommodation, like outside of like medical things. It's don't hold people going hostage going to the bathroom.
The sick part is this man is probably going to lose his lawsuit.
Yeah, for sure.
Know? And he's obviously he's not going to get his job back.
How do you tackle Amazon? You can't.
No, there's just no way. When the company makes that much money and that man is worth that amount of money, and he's not even he's not afraid of his penis being shown on the internet. Like, okay. What are you going to do to him?
And it's not like Jeff Bezos is even going to go to court. Like, it'd be like through Amazon first and whatever their lawyer team is, and like that article, or like Jeff Bezos doesn't know about that.
No,
that he's never seen that, doesn't know, will never care.
If he knows about that, it's because he read the same article that I read and goes, huh, didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, weird. And then, I don't know, burns a sack full of cash to keep warm. I don't know what.
Well, that's how you heat your mansions, don't you know? Yeah, stacks of hundreds.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you just light them up. So, just as a comparison company, I wanted to show another one because I was just curious. Mm-hmm. Walmart.
Yay, the other great evil.
Yes. Okay, so we know how big Amazon is. Walmart, $500 billion in revenue. More than double Amazon's. That's insanity. 11,000 stores. Employees. How many do you think?
What was Amazon? 650,000?
647,500.
They don't hit a million, do they?
2.2.
Whoa.
Worldwide.
Wow.
1.4 of those is in the United States. I mean, you're talking now that...
I honestly didn't know there was international Walmart, unless it's like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're all over
honestly,
the place,
like call centers and stuff.
No, it's stores. I've seen them down in Mexico. So 1.4 million of those employees in the United States, that's the size of Indianapolis and the surrounding metro area. So Walmart can employ the entirety of the Indianapolis metro area. Mm-hmm. That's insanity to me. Their starting wage, 11.
Honestly, that's higher than I thought.
Yeah, it used to be $9 through training, and once you completed training, it went to 10. Mm-hmm. So I'm ever the curious one, and I decided, what is that per year? Well, that's $22,880 a year. $22,800 a year. What's the poverty line?
I was just gonna ask. The last time I checked, this was years ago. Poverty line was like 23.
So the poverty line, most recent one that was done, which I think was done in like 2010 with the last census, for a family of 4 with no children under the age of 18, was $22,541.
I need to pull up the sheet so I can see the comparison side by side.
So
So they beat it by like 300 bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. But that's a family of 4. So if your whole family of 4 worked there, yeah, you might be doing all right if you all got to work full time.
Yeah, specifically a family of 4 with no children under 18.
Under 18.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody can work in the household. Well, age-wise, everybody can work in the household.
Right. And that's insanity to me. Like, when I graduated college, my first job paid me $28,000 a year. And I thought, oh my God, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
You know, because that's pretty far above the poverty line. And then I'm sitting here living with roommates that are contributing to rent. I'm not a single breadwinner for an entire household of people. I'm only having to take care of myself. You know, so that is a fair amount of money, you know, if you're doing it right. But then, okay, now I'm the single breadwinner. I've got to come home and take care of my, you know, wife and my kids. I can't live off that. You know, I mean, that's why I used to be against a higher minimum wage, but the older I get and the more I look at these numbers, like, people just can't live off these low wages.
Right.
You know, and while I think, yeah, that's a lot of money to pay somebody to flip burgers, right? $15 an hour, you know. But if it means I pay 50 cents extra on my hamburger or 75 cents extra on my hamburger, okay. They have a better standard of living and I pay a little bit more for my food.
Well, that was like in one of the many tirades of Papa John himself. Because fuck that dude. That dude sucks. Another hypocrisy. I really like their
A
pizza.
racist son of a bitch, too.
Yeah, he sucks in like every aspect of the world. He's a terrible human being. But he specifically didn't want to give insurance to his employees, or like however it worked out, because it would raise the price of his pizza. Like at most, it was like $1. Like
Right.
it may have been under $1. He's like, I don't want to do that because it'll raise the price of pizza too much. And everyone's like, we'll just pay more for your shitty pizza if we want it. It's like it does. Is that like that's not gonna, like you're buying your pizza anyways. Like it's not gonna make or break. I've never been like, oh, $1. Like I guess I'll have to cut it. Like I'm not gonna order it.
They cost more now, so I'm out on Papa John's. I'm gonna go
Right.
back to Pizza Hut.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, okay. I mean, and that's what I don't get. It doesn't cost that much more on the food side of it, right? I know in restaurants the margins are tight. I get it. I managed a couple of them.
I would feel bad if
But-
they weren't a national chain. Like it's
Right.
Papa John's. Peyton Manning owned like 23 of them or whatever in Denver, like or Colorado. Like who gives a shit?
Right. I mean, the costs are extremely controlled. They know exactly how much goes into each pie to ensure the costs stay where they need to be. And then, of course, they make enough to be able to pay their people and to pay for the buildings. So raise the cost of the pizza a little bit to us, to the consumer. You know, I'm still going to buy a pizza.
Yeah,
Instead of $12.99, it's $13.99. Okay.
I probably wouldn't even notice.
Not
Like,
going to lose sleep over that. Yeah. I just expect prices over time to go up anyway.
right.
Because of inflation, right? I mean, that's just an ongoing thing. It's never going to stop.
And really, like when we talk about like ordering Papa John's and Pizza Hut and ordering on Amazon, like we really should be buying like more local stuff.
100%.
And like I know I'm bad at it. I've always been bad at it because to be honest, I'm quite selfish. Like I don't want to spend more money on things, and I do like Papa John's pizza. I know it's shitty pizza. I get that, but I do like it.
I always wondered why you bought that when I came over to your house.
Well, one, I have like a 40% coupon that's kind of ongoing right now, so it's super cheap for me to buy it.
Nice.
And I legitimately just like Papa John's pizza. I know it's shitty. I get it. I like it. So I'm sorry. I'm a bad person. But like, I should be doing like there's a really good pizza place on Carmel called Basbo's.
Yeah.
Like I believe that's local. I can't imagine if there's more. There's probably a couple of them, but
If
not.
you want to call it a local chain,
Right.
I guess there's 2 or 3 locations.
Yeah, and
You know.
when I'm saying local, I'm not saying like it has to be. There's only one store or whatever. Like the comic book store I go to is local. There's 3 stores, but
Yeah.
that's it. There's 3 stores, and I've been going there for 8 years. Like, and that's like kind of like my justification for buying local. Is like I've put a lot of money into that comic book store.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also been very sick these past couple days, so if I sound terrible and I'm coughing all of a sudden, I'm sorry. I've been muting my mic earlier when Chris was talking. But I need to do more. Like, I could do, like, I'm sure there's a local grocery store here somewhere that I don't know of, but...
Yeah, I mean, I love shopping local as much as I can. You talk about a local grocery store. There's a local butcher shop that I love to go to.
Joe's. Yeah,
absolutely.
that place rules.
And I'm gonna name all the local places I go to. So if you listen in Indy, go to these places.
Yeah,
Joe's
I've
Butcher
even
Shop on
done
Main Street in Carmel is fantastic.
I haven't even bought meat from there yet, but they have amazing sandwiches. They have like a sandwich shop there, and holy shit!
Oh my god, they're so
that's
good. And they sell a national brand deli meat, Boar's Head, but it's the best deli meat you can find.
Right.
But they have really good cuts of meat. They make some things in house, like they hand make crab cakes and salmon patties and some other things like that, just locally in the shop.
And there's like generally good people. Like I had good service there, and like when I was going there getting sandwiches, like the guys are like legit into making sandwiches. Like they're not doing it for a job. Like that's what they like to do, and they take like a lot of pride in their work. And
oh yeah, they love doing it, and they also employ a lot of local high school kids, to kind of run the counter and all that kind of stuff. So it's creating jobs. It's local. It's Joe's Butcher Shop in Carmel. Go.
And your money's going like to these people who, in all honesty, like aren't making like relatively a lot of money.
No.
Like as I line like Jeff Bezos' pockets a little more with my fucking Captain Marvel dolls, and like I struggle with it. I want to buy more local, but like I said, I myself am a hypocrite. Like I like saving money, even though I'm spending it on garbage like toys. And it's hard. It's like hard to beat that like dividing line of, yeah, I can get the same thing here versus Amazon, but if I pay on Amazon, I pay like $20 less, and that happens like with comic books a lot too. I buy all my single issues at the store themselves, so I know like there is another service where you can buy them really cheap, and they get shipped to you. But I don't do that. I tried it for like a month or two just to save money. One, I hated it, and I kind of felt bad because I felt like I was betraying like my store. Like I said, I've been going there for 8 years at this point.
I was gonna say you've been going a long time.
I've been going a long time. Like he knows me. Like
There's a relationship there.
Yeah, like we go to the same comic book convention in Chicago, which I'm actually going to in a couple of weeks. Like I always see him there. We talk about it, and like I've just hung out in the store for a couple of hours and just talked to him for a while. Like Pete's a really good guy. But then like when there's like hardcover collections and stuff like that, and like I mean they sell them for full price, and I buy them somewhere else. Like I save money there so I can buy more of them. Even though I still go, I go every Wednesday to go pick up comics there and spend too much money and and all that. And it's hard because like I want to support him more, and like I'm always like that would be like my thing if I was like a little wealthier. Is like I would buy all my comics at the comic book store, like be that guy. And it's a weird like dichotomy of what I want to be versus what I can do, and trichotomy versus what I want to do. Like I don't know how all that works, and I want to be better at that. I want to do more like we shop from Aldi, like Aldi's fucking everywhere, and then and Whole Foods, which is owned by Amazon,
right?
And like so like we can do more and we don't, and I think we're getting better. And I used to be really bad at it, and I used to be like fuck, I'll buy whatever's cheapest wherever I can get it, and I am doing a little more. And like talking about Bazzo's Pizza, we had Bazzo's Pizza like a week or two ago. That shit's fucking good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I had never like ordered a pizza from there. I only had like their like lunch special, which is like the pizza's already made, so it's never as good as like when you get your what you want. Yeah. Like that was a really good ass pizza.
But it's still just fantastic. I mean, you can tell that they make everything in house. All the ingredients are fresh. Like it's pretty darn good. I'm not a fan of the service I got one time, but I've been back multiple times after and had better experiences. So
and that's the thing. Like maybe if you had bad service one time, it's like give it another shot. You never know.
And they allow dogs on the patio, so that's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. I try to shop local pretty often.
I feel like especially like your wife, I think is probably really good at. She seems very
good at that. I mean, but we still fall prey to Amazon. You know, sometimes
It's hard to
you know,
break.
family on a budget. You know,
Yeah.
and sometimes you need to get some things, and it's like,
God
well,
damn, how much you
damn,
spend on diapers? Like,
Amazon. You know, well, Costco. Fuck, we go to Costco all the time, man. You know,
Yeah.
but like, where am I gonna like? There's not like a local baby supply store that I'm aware of, but if there is,
I'm sure
one,
there is, and I'm sure it's really expensive. I'm sure it's good
Yeah.
stuff, but like, I'm sure it's very expensive.
You know, I buy, like, I'm into vinyl records.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I collect records, and I've purchased a few of them off of Amazon and at Barnes and Noble, but the bulk of my collection has been purchased at one location. That's Indie CD and Vinyl, and that's where I bought my record player. You know, it's where I've bought my record crates. You know, I try to buy everything I can there. You know, if I'm going to get a new needle for my turntable one day in the future, that's where I'm going to buy it. When I'm ready to buy new speakers, that's where I'm going to go to buy them. You know, I've already planned it all out. I just haven't done it yet because it is more expensive to buy them there. But I
Right.
want to make sure I buy them from that store because they're small business and it's got like 7 employees and it's the same people every time I go in and it's awesome. They don't know me from Adam, you know, because I don't go in there like on a regular, but I recognize them and it's nice to see the same faces.
I mean,
you know?
they might not know your name, but they might recognize you. Like, they might be like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, like when I get my haircut, it's kind of long now, but I also
I like the long look.
thanks.
Yeah, whatever.
I also go
good.
to a local barber shop. Like I don't go to like a chain barber shop. You know, I go to Warfleet, also right next to Any Seating and Vinyl down in Broad Ripple. You know, and then there's my favorite coffee shop. It is a local coffee shop. I will still buy Starbucks because it's convenient and easy to order through the app on the way to work. You know,
Yeah.
the coffee shop
get
I
it.
love is not on the way. You know, I have to kind of go out of my way to go. And it's not necessarily any more expensive. It's just I have to get out of the car and go in and wait. And it takes more time. But the coffees taste so much better. And I should just do it every time I want to buy coffee on the way to work.
I know, and like, but that's kind of like that's really like kind of like Amazon. Like it's so convenient for you to do. It's easier. It's cheaper. You're getting roughly the same thing. I mean, in Amazon, sometimes you're literally getting the same thing as something else. Obviously, coffee's different, but it's
We bought whole bean coffee from Amazon. It made me cry a little.
with joy. Or,
No,
yeah,
I was a little sad.
yeah, and but again, it's just there and it's easy and like you guys have a young kid and it's harder for you guys just to go get something or do something now. It's a lot more of an ordeal. Like when you guys have come over, like we've gone to dinner, I see like the whole loadout of like you like, all right, gotta go get the stroller ready, gotta pop the kid in it, get them all buckled in so we can move them. Like you were doing that the other day when we all went out to lunch.
Gotta get the backpack with the diapers and the formula and the food and
Yeah, because like does your local
spare change of clothes.
yeah, does your local coffee shop have a drive-through?
No.
Yeah, so like Starbucks, you can just go right through and do it.
Yeah.
And the same thing with like McDonald's and stuff. They're like, or even like a better comparison for what I'm about to bring up was like Five Guys. Like I like Five Guys food. Like
Yeah,
Five
it's a
Guys
good
is very
burger.
good. And then maybe they're not the best example because I think they are privately owned still, aren't they?
They are franchised.
Well, they are, but like
Yeah.
but I believe like overall like
Oh no,
the company
the
itself.
family is still family owned. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still privately owned through the family of the Five Guys, I
Correct.
assume.
Yes.
But like, there's a place in Carmel called Bub's Burgers, which is honestly some of the best hamburgers I've ever had.
Oh my God, so
that place
good.
is fucking
So
amazing.
good.
And I kind of forget about it, but I could go there more rather than go to like Five Guys or something like that. But sometimes Five Guys is close to my house. I don't like, and Bub's is kind of a pain in the ass to get to because it's in a weird spot.
It is in a very weird spot. It's hard to park. You gotta walk
And
a
like
little ways.
the venue itself is very small, so like sometimes it's hard to go there and eat.
It is a cool venue though.
It is cool, and they've done a
being in
lot
the
to
house,
it.
yeah.
But like, that place is really fucking good, and like and it's a little pricier. Like it costs a little more to go there, but like I'm literally paying for better food.
Yeah.
And really, I really the whole point of me talking about this is like I should support more local stuff, and I'm not
I think
really
we all
doing
should.
that.
I mean, and like we have that shop local weekend or whatever that
Mm-hmm.
one Saturday out of the year where you're supposed to go and shop and buy local. Well, what's wrong with just doing that all the time? Why do it one weekend out of the year?
Yeah,
We should do
exactly.
it every week of the year.
Like my best friend, like he's really good at like shopping local. He's like really into the environment and like shopping local. He does that really well. And not that he hasn't like shopped on Amazon or whatever, but I know he tries to limit a lot of that, and it's very impressive that he does that. And like that's something I wish I could do more. Or I'm trying to like build myself up to it and do it more, and we budget for it a little better and try to get all that figured out. And it feels good, like kind of like when you go to those places, and like for things like my comic book store, like I like going in and he knows my name. Like he says, "Hey Tyler," I say, "Hey Pete," like how's it going? We talk a little bit, and I grab my comics, and we either talk about comics or like we've talked about other stuff, like just depending on what it is. And like you'll probably get that more at like a local place than you would.
Oh, for sure.
At like Starbucks when barista number 4 is like being rotated out for barista number 6. And barista number 5 is in the back doing drive-thru. They're working a long shift today. And I kind of like that sense of community better. And maybe that's something I want to do more with, like, try to, like, impart that more on, like, my future kid. And try to, like, bring that into them, showing, like, hey, like, local community is good. Like, be part of that. And that's probably not something I did as much as a kid. I don't know if we did it as a family enough. And, like, I can think of... Growing up in Goshen, there was this place called Everett's. It was like a local grocery store. It was around for like 70-some years until it finally closed. Became like an Ace Hardware or whatever it was. Yeah. And like I remember this place called Video Visions. It was a movie rental place. They were there before Blockbuster. People stopped going there because Blockbuster came. Video Visions was still around. Blockbuster went under. Video Visions was still there. And
nice.
like kept around. I think they finally closed, to my knowledge, but they were there. I don't know, minimum 25 years, if not longer.
Oh, sure. I mean, eventually something like a video store is gonna go away. I mean, that has to happen, right? Because
right, nature of the beast.
Right, we're all streaming. We're going to the internet. I mean, it's the way it's going. But I mean, they could pivot into something else. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
that's all.
turn into
beyond me.
Rent-A-Swag or something.
Yeah, I was just watching some of those episodes. I think he just sold Rent-A-Swag. He made a bunch of money off of it. But yeah, like I don't know. Shop local, man. Do better. Like I'm trying to be better. We should all try to be better. And it's not like you need to do it every time. And like
no, but the fat
maybe
cats
limited
have
a bit.
enough. You know, Amazon, Walmart, Meijer. You know, if you're in the Midwest, Starbucks, McDonald's, they have enough. They've got enough money.
It is. And it's like it's okay to like that stuff.
Yeah.
And like. I like fast food. It's shitty, and I like it. And
I mean, I'm still gonna get a chai latte every now and then from Starbucks, but
yeah,
I should get the bulk of my coffee from my local coffee shop. You know,
right? Exactly.
We've always got a bag of their coffee downstairs. It's my weekend coffee.
Oh, the weekend
coffee. Yes.
I was gonna. You got your business coffee. You got your fun coffee.
That's right. We have our bulk like Costco coffee from Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. And then Saturday and Sunday mornings when I get up and I make it in my Chemex. I have my fancy coffee.
So fancy.
You guys shop local.
Yeah, just let's all try to be better, I guess.
Be better humans.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, I just want to thank everybody for listening to Thursday Thunderdome. I want to thank Sarah Lichty, who created our logo and did our graphic design. You can find her work at sarahlichtydesign.com. Buy local, go through her, and get some logos and shit. She does a real good job. Thank you to Jimmy Nimbus for doing our intro and outro music. That song is called Top Off, and you can find it at jimmynimbus.bandcamp.com. Please check him out, and as well as Hotel Records, which he's also a part of. Again, local. He's not technically local, but he's not a big corporation. Go check out his music and support him as well. You can find
local
us...
artist, man.
Exactly. Local... He was in Nashville. He's over in Illinois now. You can find us on Twitter at Thursday T-Dome or on Facebook and Instagram at Thursday Thunderdome. If you want to leave us any comments, questions, or even topics you'd like to hear, please contact us at either Twitter or an email at thursdaythunderdome@gmail.com. And finally, you can find our shows on all podcast platforms like Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn, and iTunes. Go ahead and I'm sorry, Apple Podcasts. I need
Apple
to.
Podcasts,
I have a little
right.
sheet that I look off of. This is Apple Podcasts now. It's a fucking thing, I guess. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, I don't care. I just want
another major corporation that we want you to listen through their system.
Yeah. Listen locally through us. but go to Apple Podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe. That helps our show. We get a new review this week. Thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate it. I got called out a little bit, but I think that's funny, so it's okay. I appreciate it. This personalizes it. But again, thank you very much for doing that. Everybody, please, if you can, rate, review, and subscribe. It helps us grow our show. Make us become the next Jeff Bezos, and you can fucking make fun of us and call us monsters, and we won't give you any money for it. But we'll say thank you at the start when we're little. Like
I might give you a couple bucks.
I won't.
When I buy a coffee from you at Starbucks.
But you won't put it in the tip jar. You just assume it as part of the wage or anything.
Right.
Here's a tip: get a real job.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's end on that. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thank you very much.